The Illuminati has been a worldwide conspiracy theory for quite a long time, and we can see that all social and political problems are now always associated with the Illuminati. It's all their fault. They are a group of world elites who lead in the shadows with the aim of having full power. But is it true? Is the Illuminati just a conspiracy theory or historically true? Illuminati is the plural of the Latin word illuminatus, which means enlightened. This term appeared in the 15th century, and its meaning has remained relatively constant over time. In general, the Illuminati refers to a group of people who consider themselves to have attained enlightenment that we are not used to seeing either through contact with a higher power or through their own intelligence. As of 1422, Rosicrucian claimed that he had secret and occult knowledge from ancient times. Alumni who were active in the 16th and 17th centuries in Spain believed that the human soul could communicate directly with the Holy Spirit, which they called light. And in 1776, a Bavarian professor founded a political perspective secret society that wanted to replace Christianity with a religion of reason and communicate by secret code. All these groups of small groups are not very similar in idea. Generally, we socially perceive the Illuminati now, where many people now believe in a conspiracy about an elite group that leads the world in the shadows, and they are the ones responsible for controlling major events in the world. And it's different from today's conspiracy theories, which are based on rumors. This shampoo is real and has real historical records written in this video. We will discuss the history of the real Illuminati, conspiracy theories about the current Illuminati, and also the psychology of conspiracy theories themselves. Why do so many people believe in this conspiracy theory? The early followers of the Illuminati believed that they received something called light or another source by direct communication from a higher power or due to elevation and enlightenment, the condition of human intelligence. The first group is known as the Labrador bridle necklace itself, which comes from Spanish, which, if we interpret it, means the enlightened Spanish historian Marcelino. This you first discovered this term around 1492 and connected it with Gnostic teachings, namely religion, mystical religion in the Hellenistic era and the early Christian period. Marcelino argued that influence from Italy brought this view to Spain. One of the figures believed to be in the Amos group is Maria di Santoso Mingu, who is known as unstable, said Di Grahita. She was born around 1485 in Aldeano Eva, which is located south of Salamanca in Spain. From a young age, Maria showed a deep interest in the spiritual life that ultimately led him to join the Dominican order as a teenager. This order is known for their commitment to education, municipality, material, and contemplative life. Mary is known to have had the ability to communicate directly with spiritual entities such as Jesus Christ and the Holy Mother. Her profound vision and capacity to converse with these holy figures made her famous as a prophet and mystic. His life as a mystic not only contained attention, but also controversy because of its time. Such films were often viewed with skepticism and suspicion by the Catholic Church. Ferdinand of Aragon, one of the most influential rulers in Spain at the time, invited Maria to his court. After hearing about her visions, Ferdinand became convinced of the authenticity of her mystical experiences, which gave Maria a kind of protection from powerful political figures. However, the authenticity of his mystical experience also attracted the attention of the Inquisition, which at that time was actively evaluating and often punishing people who were deemed to have deviated from the official doctrine of the Dominican Church, the order he belonged to, asking Pope Julius II for guidance regarding his case. This shows the importance of Mary's case and the need to obtain the views of higher authorities in the Church. A series of trials were then held under the auspices of the Inquisition, which was a critical moment for Maria and the potential punishment she could receive. Luckily, thanks to the strong support from Ferdinand and other important figures such as Francesco Cardinal James on the Neros side and the Duke of Alba, Maria was finally acquitted of all charges in 1510. The support of these figures not only shows the influence they have, but also shows their significant political and social role, which could be owned by religious figures at that time. Other notable followers, such as Saint Ignatius of Loyola, while studying with Salman in 1527, faced accusations of having sympathy for the alumnus, but managed to escape with only a reprimand. Meanwhile, several uneducated followers in Toledo in 1529 were whipped and imprisoned. Strict supervision continued for about a century, and many victims of Braddock's alum fell into the hands of the Inquisition, including in the same scientific Cordoba immediately known to originate from the Braddock's realm, which spread to France from Simple, Spain in 1623 and gained influence from Picard in 1634 through the election of a priest, says the Roy. Peake's followers, known as Gwyneth, supported the view that direct spiritual experience was more important than obedience to the immediate past. But this view invited disapproval and oppression from ecclesiastical authorities. In 1635, the Grands experienced a repression that reflected the conflict between the followers of this mystical movement and the more orthodox structure of the Catholic Church, an imitation group. Different appeared in the south of France in 1722 and continued until 1794. This group had ties to those known as the French Prophets, who were part of the Cami-Search. Cami-Search was a militant Protestant group operating in the Gauze region, known for their resistance to religious oppression by Louis XIV and his reign. This French prophet may refer to the spiritual leader of the Thursday Ads, who claimed to have divine revelation and lead in the struggle against oppression. Meanwhile, there is another one called the Russian Risk. Order Rosicrucis is an esoteric movement that has its roots in mystical ideas and optimism. They claim to have originated in 1422, but are starting to gain public attention. In 1537, Rosicrucian combined various elements from traditional, spiritual, and philosophical, creating a unique synthesis of Egyptian hematite, Ostism, Christianity, Kabbalah, Judaism, alchemy, and other shared occult beliefs and practices alike. Pratis, published in 1614, was the first document to explicitly mention the orders. Crucially, this document may have circulated in manuscript form before and played an important role in expanding the ideas and existence of this order and the Fraternites. Tatis tells the story of the risen Rosencreuz, the founder of the movement, who traveled to Damascus, a legendary city called Damkar, Egypt, and at the festival where he was said to have gained a lot of secret wisdom. After returning to Germany, Kristen Rose founded this order with 3 other people, and the members of the order then increased to 8. Each member then separated and went to different countries. In accordance with the Rosencreuz's instructions to spread their teachings, they committed to maintaining the secrecy of the Brotherhood for 100 years. According to documents, 120 years after the founding of the secret tomb and the still intact body of the founder was discovered by one of the members of the order at that time. However, after that the tomb was closed again and its location was lost to history. The old document practically ends with an open invitation to certain people to join this brotherhood. Some prominent figures believed to be linked to the Russian Risk include Michael Mayer, a German chemist, Robert Ford, an English doctor, as well as Chicken, an English philosopher and statesman. They are all known for their works, which include esoteric and occult themes consistent with Russian Risk teachings. However, the most famous one turned out to be very different from his predecessors in his philosophy. Even though it is the same as being in opposition to the Church and is also believed to be the starting point where people began to recognize the Illuminati as the basis of the current conspiracy theory, namely the Bavarian Illuminati, which was founded by Adam Weishaupt, a law professor. Adam Weishaupt was born in 1748 in Ingolstadt, a city in the electorate of Georgia, which was part of the modern German washout, losing her parents at a young age and being raised by her uncle, who, having a higher education, took care of her education and enrolled her in a Jesuit school. After completing his studies, Weishaupt continued his academic career and became a professor of natural and canon law at the University of Ingolstadt. During this period, he married and started a family. A closer look at Adam Weishaupt's childhood reveals that he always had a restless mind. Since childhood, Weiser has shown a strong interest in reading and often reads books by the latest French Enlightenment philosophers in his player's library. At that time, he was very conservative and upheld Catholic values, believing the same as some thinkers of that time, that the monarchy and the church. Weishaupt's critical views of traditional authority, both monarchy and church, provide an insight into his thinking, which sought reform and change in his strong education under the guidance of his uncle. This, along with exposure to French Enlightenment ideas, may have been a factor influencing the shape of his thinking and forming the basis for his later controversial thinking. Convinced that religious ideas are no longer an adequate belief system to govern modern society, Adam Weishaupt decided to look for another form of illumination. In this context, illumination refers to a set of ideas and practices that can be implemented to radically change the way the European state is run. He believed that the doctrine and authority of the church were unbreakable. It's just a way for the church to suppress its people. In this period, Freemasonry continued to develop throughout Europe, offering freethinkers an alternative to dancing. Initially, there was a corpse thinking about joining an order Freemason. However, after feeling disappointed with many of the ideas found in Freemasonry, Wish became increasingly interested in books that discussed esoteric themes, such as the stories of the 7 stages of Memphis. As a result, he decided to found a new secret society that was his own, which we later knew as the Illuminati shot. He said he was not opposing religion itself, but rather the way in which it was practiced and thought imposed, he wrote. Offering freedom from all religious prejudices, it fosters social virtue and imbues it with the prospect of great, worthy and speedy universal happiness. Willett believes that to achieve this, we need to create a state of freedom and moral equality free from the obstacles, subordination, rank and wealth that continually hinder us. His views reflect his aspirations towards freedom of thought, moral equality, and the elimination of social inequality, which he considers an obstacle to a better society. So, before we discuss the Illuminati creation of this Weishaupt, we need to know the friend zone, where Without first tried to join. When most of us hear the word freeze, we usually imagine a brotherhood that stretches across the globe. A gathering of rich men who perform strange rituals and greet each other with secret handshakes. They join in this mysterious nexus, believe in a higher power, and together they share secrets and protect each other. And when they met at the lodge, they did so in secret. What happened in the past remains in the lodge, even though in fact they are just a fraternal organization that binds its members and the secrets that lie within there. Just like today's business organizations, they have internal rituals and rules that are kept secret, and also have regulations not to allow information in meetings to come out and be received by them. Sony does not engage in inappropriate activities or violate the ethics of Freemasonry, originally originating from the Masons' guilds and cathedral building in medieval England. They are known as an association of skilled craftsmen. Early mentions of Freemasonry can be found in documents dating back to the 13th century using Latin or French. The Norman term free in Freemasonry indicates that these Masons, their release from feudal ties, marked their independence as skilled craftsmen. Education for a medieval Mason master began in childhood with the study of languages and mathematics, followed by training in working with stone as a teenager. Skills that were highly valued for construction were important at that time when becoming adults. After achieving the status of Master Mason, they earned much respect and became respected members of society into the 17th and 18th centuries. This practice developed into modern Freemasonry, whose members believe in a higher power and the values of brotherhood. With rituals rooted in the myth of the construction of King Solomon's temple, there are around 100 manuscripts documenting aspects of Freemasonry, including the Constitution and Code of Ethics. Although few provide details about the initiation rituals and ceremonies in 1717, the first Grand Lodge established in England sparked the formation of many more masonry lodges thousands of religious orders, specifically and often in conflict with the Roman Catholic Church because they had a stipulation that religion and politics were not discussed in official meetings, and this sparked divisions in various lobbies. There are differences of opinion here. Being frozen means committing to living according to the principles contained in the Freemasonry philosophy, namely, first, continuous self-improvement both intellectually, morally, and spiritually. Second, brotherhood based on equality and mutual support. Third, charity work and participating in community service for the welfare of the wider community. Fourth, involvement and ethics as rituals and rules in strengthening values. Fifth, the search for truth. He encouraged them to have open discussions for deeper understanding because of life and the universe. These values are actually the same as the values possessed by Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati later, and he initially believed that by joining this organization, he could strengthen and spread the values he believed in. However, he has some dissatisfaction with the technical aspects of the friend zone, such as exclusivity and strict hierarchy. He saw Freemasonry as too closed and the elite not fully committed to the societal reforms or ideological progress he saw as necessary. Secondly, high membership fees are prohibitive for many individuals who are strong-willed but lack the third financial resource. There are ritual structures and dogmas that Weishaupt believes are ineffective in achieving real, practical change in society. He sought a more rational and targeted approach that could more directly impact social and political reform, and with that he founded the Illuminati. The Illuminati was founded in 1776 in Ingolstadt, Bavaria, as a secret group, with a vision to create global change and design a new world order under the leadership of Adam Weishaupt. Their goals included resistance to Catholic authority and the reduction of Catholic influence and all forms of religion and government that were considered obstacles and detrimental factors to human civilization and the advancement of intimate faith. They involved the principles of absolute equality, social fraternity, and freedom of rationality. Even though the previous Illuminati were actually 180 degrees different, because they were previously known as those who deified religion. Although they were both in opposition to Catholicism, and now they changed their philosophy to abolish religion and replace it with human rationality. Weishaupt stated that the power held by Catholics must be ended and completely replaced by human logic and reason. In their view, human logic and reason were considered better guides in guiding life than the ruling Catholic authorities. And he knows how to achieve it, namely by starting a secret order that will gain a position of influence, then direct the world from the shadows. It should be noted that Auguste Comte, first French positivism of the 19th century, is said to confirm this aim. Content thought related to the development of human religion based on scientific and social principles, creating a connection with the spirit of reform held by the Illuminati movement in the past. In the Dark Ages in Europe, public decisions related to civil government within the state were not determined by the interests of society, but were more influenced by Catholic authority. This situation lasted for centuries, creating an era in which intellectual life and government were fixated on the control of the Catholic Church. Beautiful and accurate with the situation of Galileo in Italy, who was imprisoned all his life for developing the heliocentric theory, which explained that the Earth was not the center of the solar system, but was only a small planet that revolved around the Sun as its center. He was locked up for life simply because he went against the meaning of the Bible, and he was said to be stupid and absurd. However, after this period took place, the spirit of secularism and the development of individual intellectuality began to give rise to an era of change known as the Age of Enlightenment. This era brought major changes in society's outlook, encouraging rational and scientific thinking, as well as promoting individual rights. This development had a positive impact on social and political life, paving the way for renewal in many aspects of life. In the beginning, the Illuminati had a small group consisting of students from Weishaupt. Although he had to hide these ideals while attending the school, the issue fostered a culture of surveillance with students and faculty encouraged to report to each other. But the Iswi's zeal and their tendency to interfere in politics led to their downfall. The Pope abolished their order in 1773. That paved the way for a washout, with Jesuits expelled from the faculty. He was able to take a position as a canon law professor and decided to use that position to change the world. However, even though it was disbanded, it was difficult for Para to maintain financial influence within the university, which they still considered to be their territory in Ingolstadt. They continued to make efforts to frustrate and displace non-clerical staff, especially if the course material contained elements deemed liberal or Protestant. As a result, the washout became increasingly anti-clerical and decided to spread Enlightenment ideas through the formation of a secret society, which consists of like-minded individuals. This decision came in response to Iswin's ongoing efforts to limit views and material deemed to be controversial or inconsistent with their thinking. On May 1, 1776, Weishaupt and 4 of his students founded the Political Perfection. The initial name of the Illuminati, which literally means true perfection, lies in human reason and the ability to think ITV. However, due to certain considerations, later they changed this name to the name we know, Illuminati, which was inspired by the name of a mystical Catholic sect formed by a woman. Spain in 1492, they chose to adopt the famous owl symbol from Greek mythology, namely the of Athena. This symbol is a representation of the owl, which always accompanies Wa, the dual wisdom in traditional Greek mythology. This symbol is considered a symbol of knowledge, wisdom, and intelligence in the Western world. The Illuminati's choice of this symbol may reflect their aspirations to promote wisdom, knowledge, and critical thinking in their struggle for change and reform. As a movement initiated by free thinkers, the Illuminati claims to be a more radical Enlightenment movement compared to other Enlightenment movements in Europe. At that time, those who join this movement are required to follow a secret oath. As a result, although many movements are identified and associated with the term Illuminati, this movement, which started in Bavaria, is the most famous and is considered the true representation of the Illuminati from Gaussen there, but slowly expanded the membership of the Illuminati to various cities such as Ichad, Riesig, Munich, and the region. One of these members, Baron Ade, who was also a friend zone member, became an influential recruiter with the help of the NEE Illuminati, expanding the number of members, gaining influence in various Masons, and also incorporating Masonic rituals. By 1784, they had more than 600 members, including influential scholars and politicians. Often the Illuminati members of the American Revolution also gained golden momentum. Jefferson later cited the washout as an inspiration for European monarchs and clergy to fear similar rebellions in their homelands. Meanwhile, the existence of the Illuminati has become public knowledge. Some famous names often associated with the Illuminati include the writer of the game Fun Golf, Johann Good for her, the astronomer Johann Bode, the writer Ferry Colley, the philosopher Jacobi, and the poet Frederick Leopold. Although their level of involvement in the movement is often the subject of debate, this relationship created speculation and controversy that grew over time. The membership system also developed into a more complex hierarchy, with a total of 13 degrees of initiation divided into 3 levels as members progressed to gain knowledge and greater responsibility within the organization. The management of the Illuminati organization is designed to be so complicated that in every activity they use code names that are only understood by a small number of certain members. For example, there is a washout using special calls per tacus. This practice adds a level of complexity and mystique within the organization, creating a deeper layer of secrecy and security. These special code names and nicknames not only serve as internal identifiers, but also create an aura of mystery around the Illuminati membership. At the end of 1784, the Illuminati was reported to have had between 2,000 members, up to 3,000 members, which varied and involved various levels of society, shows the extent to which this order succeeded in attracting attention and support from various groups at that time. But with all that power, the washout doesn't do anything. he largely shifted his focus to expert picking. More Frees issued strict guidelines to follow and tried to overthrow Rosa's chair, and this is where it all came crashing down. Pressures, both internal and external, began to hinder the Illuminati's expansion of the upper echelon of power in Bavaria. Conflicts between the Weishaupts increased regarding the goals and procedures of the order. It cannot be overcome, and in the end, the teeth leave the movement. At the same time, Josef Snyder, a former member of the Illuminati, reportedly wrote a letter to the Grand Duchess of Bavaria, which allegedly revealed the secrets of this society. Internal conflict and betrayal led to the decline of the Illuminati's sustainability in Bavaria. The disclosures made by Snyder contain a mixture of truth and lies. According to Osner Illuminati, he now views suicide as a legitimate act, agrees with the idea of poisoning one's enemies, and considers religion to be absurd. He also stated that the Illuminati were planning a conspiracy against Ria in the name of Austria. After receiving a warning from his wife, Febria issued a decree in June 1784, which prohibited the formation of any society not previously permitted by law. This decision was the beginning of the destruction of the Illuminati order in Bavaria. Initially, the members of the Illuminati thought that this general prohibition would not directly affect them, but less than a year later, in March 1785, the Bavarian authorities issued a second, strict decree. Prohibiting the order was a guard on the highway that he was ordered to watch over people suspected of fleeing the country. Bavaria police are knocking on doors looking for subversive groups who have infiltrated the power leadership structures of frozen army posts and universities, spreading their creeds of secularism, atheism, and restructuring society. Members of the group who were caught were locked up. Even though the Illuminati never really did anything, the government still embarrassed and discredited the group by publishing confiscated documents. Weishaupt lost his position at the University of Ingolstadt and was expelled. The rest of his life was spent in the city of Saxony, where he taught philosophy at the University of Göttingen. He also spent his entire life writing books about the ideas of the Illuminati and died in his 80s. The idea of out-influencing the field of popular fiction is reflected in works such as Dan Brown's Angels and Demons and Umberto Eco's Italian novel Foucault's Pendulum. Although the group was disbanded, a lasting contribution to the Weishaupt may have been the idea that secret societies continued to operate behind the scenes, and holding the reins of power in the spirit of rationalism embraced by the Illuminati. We should conclude that they no longer exist. However, the ideas that prompted the Weishaupt to establish the Illuminati have continued to spread and become the basis for many Western governments today. These ideas did not start and end with the Illuminati, and perhaps their influence was not that big. But the Illuminati was a community that represented a wave of change that was already underway when it was founded and continued long after it ended in 1797. 2 separate books were published in England claiming that the Illuminati, having survived and was the secret mastermind behind the French Revolution, and these books have sparked an era of paranoia about secret societies and their hidden plots. And this is where the Illuminati began to form as a symbol of the Black Sheep group. All the evil that exists on Earth, and from here, the symbols and philosophy of the Illuminati have also changed completely. The most popular symbol is the single eye and the triangle behind it, which is often interpreted as the Eye of Lucifer or the all-seeing eye, which means that they can monitor all movements in the world and human activities. The pyramid symbol represents a caste or level structure, wherever the world is occupied by the global elite. The middle part is filled by organizations led by the highest elite, and the lowest part is the general public led by elites in the middle. And the owl, which previously meant wisdom, has now changed the meaning of following society's conspiracy theories to mean that they can control the world. There are also other symbols such as pentagrams and elements related to Satan. And now it is said in a conspiracy that there are people who are called the heirs of the Illuminati as heirs of the previous Illuminati, even though the ideology is completely different. All major and mysterious events are linked to the Illuminati. Everything in the world of COVID-19 LGBTQ nil. All the Genzi-Israel-Palestine wars are all the fault and responsibility of the Illuminati, the global elite, or better known now as the New World Order. In the 1920s, fascists believed that the Illuminati were Jews who controlled the world after the Second World War. Anti-communists believe that the Illuminati are communists who control the world, and recently many believe that the Illuminati is part of the New World Order. The New World Order, described in conspiracy theories, is a group that is trying to dominate the world's totalitarian government. George Bush, the President of the United States, once gave a speech saying, "We have forest the overtunes, the fourth, and future generations. New World Order, world to Allah. After achieving governance, our nation is successful. Moms. We are really changing the world of your nation. Can you scroll to fulfill the promise of the lion of you and your shoulders?" Many people think that the Illuminati and the New World Order are the same thing, and many theories have emerged, ranging from the absurd to the downright absurd. Like the first, the New World Order consists of the United States government, the PB, and various other organizations that push the international agenda. This organization aims to take away the rights of Americans and people around the world, formed a very strong government and placed non-Illuminati members in camps run by FEMA. The second theory believes that the current world leaders are magicians and shape-shifting aliens. They are all humans, lizards, and this lizard race feeds on the human race and occasionally asks for human victims. The third theory states that the New World Order is connected to the Antichrist, and the Illuminati are Satanists who worship Satan. The fourth theory says that the Illuminati killed famous people and replaced them with candidates who were used to brainwash the public. Interest in the Illuminati increased after the publication of the novel Serological Illuminator. This novel by Robert Shah and Robert Anton Wilson places the Illuminati movement as the main conspirators who influenced various key decisions that shaped the course of world civilization. Since then, a number of authors such as Magdes, David X. Marks, Ryan Burke, Juri Lina, and Morgan Richer have expressed the view that the Bavarian Illuminati continues to survive. They promote various conspiracy theories linking the Illuminati to secret influences behind world events and are known as important figures in the conspiracy theory movement to strengthen conspiracy theories surrounding the Illuminati through their research and efforts. Search for surprising evidence of many important events in world history with the group. Before he died in 1972, Part seriously undertook extensive research trying to piece together the threads connecting the Illuminati to various historical events, including the British-French Battle of Waterloo, the French Revolution, and even the assassination of United States President John F. Kennedy. However, this conspiracy theory is baseless and does not have strong evidence, but is just wild speculation from people who are lazy about doing proper research and learning and want to take shortcuts in thinking. These theories generally involve extreme assumptions and interpretations, and scientific criticism is often directed at such claims. Thomas Jefferson's views on Adam Weishaupt and the Illuminati did show a different point of view. In his letter to James Madison on January 31, 1800, Jefferson recorded his views on the out, although his notes were not entirely positive regarding the existence of the secret group. He stated that the Weishaupt might be a good philanthropist and 4 trillion. Jefferson went on to express his belief that the Weishaupt doctrine had a positive impact on individual morality and self-reliance. Indirectly supports the idea of freedom. Jefferson seemed to focus more on the positive impact that Weishaupt ideas might have, which he thought could restore the natural nature of religion and promote morality. In the book Weishaupt, published in 1787, he responded to various accusations directed at him and the Illuminati group. In that book, Weishaupt stated that the Illuminati's goal was to educate its members in humanity and morality, and that their teachings were based on the supremacy of reason. Weishaupt emphasized that the Illuminati does not intend to force people to do these things, not desired but rather to achieve a high level of understanding and morality. He also implied that if Illuminati members could achieve important positions in politics, it could make it easier for them to carry out their educational, humanitarian, and moral missions. This Weishaupt statement tries to defend the Illuminati from various accusations and paints an image that the group has positive goals, especially in terms of education and the development of morality. Even though we now have the view that the Illuminati have enormous power and are responsible for all events in the world, the historical reality is that when they existed, they were far less influential than is suggested. According to conspiracy theories, they officially disbanded at the end of 1708. There is no credible evidence that they continued to exist after that, and this naturally leaves us with the question of why such an obviously baseless thing can be believed by everyone. Is this some kind of social division that is the result of a society that doesn't want to think long and shortcut and blames one group for all the evil around the world? Conspiracy theories such as the Illuminati often provide a simple way to explain the often confusing and unpredictable complexities of global events. An economic crisis or major political change may make it easier for some people to believe that a secret group has control over world events than to admit that many events are the result of a number of interacting factors, often in a random and unpredictable manner. Indeed, for some people, theories such as the Illuminati can provide a sense of control or understanding in situations that seem chaotic or inexplicable. By designating a place of responsibility, a person or persons may feel easier to overcome fear or uncertainty about the future, because they feel they have identified the source of the problem. There is a world problem, that's why this group is responsible. This psychology is the same as most mythologies that blame Satan or the devil for bad deeds committed by humans without realizing that humans have the capability for the crimes they commit. But because we can't explain this and want to take cognitive shortcuts, we believe that all crimes are committed by the devil's orders and not ourselves. Additionally, conspiracy theories can strengthen a sense of community among those who believe they form a community with people who see the world through the same lens, which can provide support and social validation. This kind of focus on theories and superstitions can have negative impacts such as fostering distrust of legitimate institutions or avoiding constructive dialogue about real solutions to world problems. In research conducted by Douglas and Friends in 2017, it was explained that human epistemic needs have a need to find causal explanations for certain events. In an effort to build a stable, accurate, and internally consistent understanding of the world of conspiracies, although diverse, they are often speculative, complex, and difficult to disprove because they propose that conspirators use cover-ups and disinformation to cover up their actions, which implies that those who are trying to dismantle conspiracy theories, it may also be part of the conspiracy itself. However, in general, explanations that are empirically guaranteed and can be proven to be true tend to be stronger according to normative standards. Causal explanations, as in science. However, conspiracy theories appear to provide broad and internally consistent explanations, enabling people to maintain their beliefs in the face of uncertainty and contradiction. Research shows that belief in conspiracy theories is stronger when the motivation to find patterns in the environment is increased experimentally and is stronger among people who habitually search for meaning and patterns in the environment, including those who believe in paranormal phenomena. In the research, it is also stated that conspiracy theories can also satisfy some epistemic motives at the expense of other motives, such as by protecting beliefs from uncertainty, while being less likely to be accurate. The epistemic shortcomings of conspiracy theories are unlikely to be obvious to people who lack the ability or motivation to think critically and rationally. Conspiracy beliefs correlate with lower levels of analytical thinking and lower levels of education. In addition to epistemic motives, causal explanations also serve people's existential need to feel safe and in control in their environment. This research supports this idea, showing that people tend to turn to conspiracy theories when they feel anxious and helpless. Social motives also influence conspiracy theories, where these theories can raise the image of oneself and the group, and shift the blame for negative results to other parties. Although people are drawn to conspiracy theories when their social motivations are hampered, adoption of this theory does not appear to be an effective way to fulfill this motivation. So conspiracies tend to feature negative, distrustful representations of other people and groups. So it may not only be a symptom, but also the cause of the feelings of alienation and anomie associated with it. Research so far has managed to articulate some of the motivations that, together with deficiencies in available information, cognitive abilities and motivation to think critically, may contribute to conspiracy beliefs. In this case, conspiracy theories might be seen as ironic or counterproductive manifestations of motivated social cognition. Since around 1687, European society began to experience a significant shift in the relationship between the interests of the Catholic Church and state governments. Until 1787, the Enlightenment period became a critical point in European civilization, characterized by four main elements of capitalism, individualism, rationality, and technological progress. During this time, the Illuminati movement emerged as a reaction to developing social and political conditions. The Enlightenment brought about fundamental changes in society's thinking, promoting ideas, rational and scientific ideas, and encouraging individual development. And their rights, technological progress, and capitalism also supported the social and economic transformation that occurred during that period. The Illuminati movement basically reflects the spirit of resistance to the domination of the Catholic Church and support for Enlightenment values, including rationality and individual freedom. The testament states that the initial goal of the Illuminati was to achieve the highest possible level of morality and virtue through humanitarian and moral education, as well as to fight superstition, obsolescence, and abuse of power. The emergence of the Illuminati occurred during the period of Enlightenment. Where do thinkers seek social and political reform and oppose excessive influence in religion? While it is difficult to prove that something no longer exists, all these historical precedents mean we can assume that the 21st century Illuminati is nothing more than a conspiracy theory. And if there is one, the Illuminati seem to be so good at hiding that most likely no one will ever find them. But once again, it is important to live and think logically and not rely on cognitive leaps and bounds that only provide comfort and not truth. Thank you.